What is going on, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have the profile of Dark Irregulars for premium format. Yes, I said exactly premium format. I do know that we're a little bit lacklustering a few deck profiles in premium format, but today we have the profile of Dark Irregulars with my friend Jason here. He's going to break down his build for us, explain his reasons why, and tell us what the deck exactly does. Remember, guys, to comment, like, subscribe, and take it away, Jason.
Okay. So, for starters, I run Vermilion Gatekeeper. I like that he goes into Soul and stays in there and he draws a card. Good defense for opening hand. Next, for heals, I run the new heal because you don't really need counter charge for this deck. Then you want the 10k defensive bonus and offensive bonus. We'll do all the crits together. So I run 6 crits. So I just like a crit heavy build. I like having to be able to put my crits in my rear guards and have them swing multiple times for relatively over 60k with crits. Then I only run 2 draw trigger PGs. It's weird, but I feel as though since your whole point of this deck is to do a first stride kill, defense is not as much needed as you would think. Early on, seeing draw triggers is really beneficial for rush decks, but overall, the defense is not really needed. You kind of get your PGs out of your protect markers, and yeah, that's why I do that. And 4 of the monochrome cat. This is really good for just multi-attacking, soul charging, counter charging, and just in general getting and fixing your soul. Let's see, next I run 1 Enigmatic Assassin. Obviously it's restricted to only 1, but in general this really makes your plays for when you do Death Anchor turns. If you don't have Master of Fifth Elements in your soul, and you're forced to rewrite a Death Anchor, this makes it so that way you can at least write Death Anchor after 1 more time in an additional ride. So you can get 2 attacks off a Death Anchor with it. I run 4 Doreen. Doreen is one of the cards that makes these numbers really massive. I feel like if I have her at anywhere but F4, you're not going to really see her and you're not going to hit the numbers that you would like. In this build right now, I have 4 of this guy. I plan on lowering him down to 3 so I can bump creepers up to 4. So preferably at 4 creepers. But the reason why I run him is because early soul charging with guarding, but more preferably if you have him on rear guard, when you go to use Death Anchor skill, you can soul charge him and give the rewriting grade 3 an additional 10k. And let's see. Oh, he also can counter charge with the combo with Ruthin. Creeper, pretty self-explanatory. This is like one of the main soul charging units that you would run in the deck. During the turn that you're on the grade 4 gas steal, he is one of the main reasons why gas steal pumps up the front row majorly due to his effect of Soul Blast and Soul Charge 2. So now we're going to get into the 2s. So from the new set that came out in Standard, I'm running Emblem Master. Master is just a really good mass soul charger. If you start early with Creeper in hand, you can call him to rear guard and target the 3 others that are in your deck and soul charge them, or in your drop zone if you guard with them early. He does gain a 5k on rear guard, offensively and defensively. So he does help hit some nicer numbers, and he's also a 10k interceptor. And if you do play Protect 2 with the deck, he does become a 20k interceptor with just 1 Protect marker. Let's see. I play Ruthven at 4. Ruthven really helps fix Soul, helps fix scenarios where if you have Assassin in your damage zone, he can really be a clutch card. He does help with counter charge if you absolutely need it, but it is not necessarily essential for the build. And I run Isaiah. The reason why I run Isaiah is because, yes, I do run the Legion. Isaiah, when you actually do the gas steal effect and you seek mate and you Legion, every time afterwards you soul charge, he gains additional power. He basically gets the old school Doreen +3. So if you were to soul charge 5 times after you Legion and he's on your rear guard, he gains the +3 from gas steals effect, and then an additional 3 from his own effect. So he just kind of doubles in power. And now we're gonna get into the 3s. 4 Death Anchor. I run 4 Death Anchor because 1, I like the gift marker. I preferably actually use Protect 2 with this deck. And also for the multi-attacking that the Vanguard can do with him, you copy his effect with Gas Steal, and while in grade 4, you have the ability to re-ride another card from your soul. On the re-ride, he does gain the additional crit. He gives an additional crit to the re-riding grade 3. So he makes a lot of pressure. And we're going to do Storm. I run 4 Storm. This is the other card that you use off of Gas Steal's effect that you search for. This is the Legion grade 3, and this is the mate. So you can see. So the whole point of this build is to use his bottom effect to Soul Blast a copy of him, and then to Soul Charge 5. So you really want to ride a copy of Dust first, so that way you have a copy in Soul to Soul Blast. But the cool part about this effect is that since, let's say for example, you were to ride Death Anchor first, and then you go into your grade 4, and you use his effect, you also are a copy of Death Anchor. So if you have another one in Soul, you could Soul Blast that effect, Soul Blast that card, and still meet the requirement for this effect. So you only can do it once per turn, but it's a Soul Charge 5 that really helps dig into your deck to Soul Charge other cards like Creeper. And then finally, the last grade 3 that I run 2 copies of Master of Fifth Elements. Master of Fifth Elements is your kill move, and this is your kill card. So preferably after you do the Gas Steal, copy, Death Anchor, and Psychic Storm, when you do the Death Anchor effect, you preferably want to re-ride Master of Fifth Elements. So what he does is, after his initial battle, you Soul Blast 15, and you Soul Blast your entire soul as long as you have 15 cards in hand. You then ditch your entire hand, and you restand your entire board. Even though he restood, he is still declared as an attack, so they still have to guard that attack. So usually the numbers that you look at when you do this combo, you're looking at your Vanguard being close to 100k with a built-in crit from Death Anchor effect, while still having another rear guard that's over 100k, most often not. So you get to attack with all these big numbers, and it creates a lot of pressure for your opponent to drop hand. And now I'm going to get into the force. So I run the Progenitor. He's more or less just there for if I happen to not kill on my first stride. He's more or less there to help me soul charge my soul again, to board wipe a bit, and to make it easier for me down the road to keep striding. I only run 2 copies of Gas Steal. Reason being because you don't need to really do him more than once. If you do happen to need to do him twice, which I have done a couple of times, it still works. You hit for smaller numbers, however, but the number and the pressure is still there. I run 1 copy of Sharot, grade 4. He's just a board wipe with restrictions. He's really just there just to board wipe. 4 copies of Balam. He's a quad drive. He's a snipe. He's a restriction on 1s. He does so much for most builds in general that I would consider him to be a staple at 4. Some people run him at 3, but for this build, I run 4, especially since you could just do the skill twice. And I think that having the ability to have a quad drive on deck at any time is very special. 2 copies of Gilderized. Just for the grade 1 and higher restriction, the bonus critical, You know, if people decide to still run the grade 1 PGs, he's got the restriction on it. So he's a good counter for people who still play those kind of PGs. 2 copies of Blood Mouse. So this recycles your triggers back into your deck. And he restands as well. So he kind of refreshes your deck with solely triggers. And this makes it so that way the rest of the game that you do afterwards is very dangerous. So my G Guardians are pretty simple. So we run, I can't pronounce this card, Agrat. So just on guard, soul charge 2, gets plus 5k shield. Just soul charges. So we run Nighttime Gentleman. So if you have 15 in soul, your board gets resist, and he gets a 10k, so he's a 36 guard. And I run Vincent. So you flip a G Guardian, and you soul charge a card, and you get plus 5k to shield per 5 cards in your soul. So he just helps hit for higher guard numbers, hits for low guard numbers, hits for that middle ground, and also just kind of gives resist. So any defensive, any offensive retire skills, he can help block those. Let's see. And yeah, right now that is my build. Preferably the gift marker that I like to use, depending on, I prefer to use Protect 2. It helps hit bigger numbers. And it's a stackable card. But depending on the matchup, most of the times you should do Protect 1.
Okay. Now, what would you say is one of your worst matchups with this deck?
Rush decks. In particular, I had a hard time against a Nova Grappler deck. Early game Rush is very hard to deal with due to the fact that you kind of want to hold all your good cards in your hand, so that way you can do a mass soul charge on your first stride. So the best way around that is to just hold all your cards in and take as much damage early on as possible. And when you can, try to snipe the rear guards as often as you can. So even if it means having your Vanguard swing at their rear guard, the less amount of attacks that they have on you, the easier it's going to be for your first stride to be a first stride kill.
Okay. Now since you're more into playing Protect 2, I'm assuming you ride a grade 3 maybe 4 or 5 times, 6 times a game due to no life gains effect.
Yeah. So usually per game, I see the board having about 3 Protect markers on it. Your initial grade 3 ride. Depending on how the game state goes, if you decide to do another Death Anchor instead of going into Master of Fifth Elements, you do the re-ride off of the Gas Steel grade 4, which is a second gift marker, and then the re-ride off of his skill again into a third one. But preferably you want to just use Master of Fifth Elements. You would have about 2 Protect markers on a rear guard, so that's a plus 10k, and he's that rear guard is a restander. So I think the most amount of Protect markers you'll see on your board is 2 to 3, because preferably when you, most often not when you do this turn, that is the turn that you kill them. If you don't end up killing them that turn, you'll see yourself having maybe 4 Protect markers on your board, if you decide to go with Protect 2.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'll make sure that Jason will reply back to you, or if anything, we will reply back to you as Jason. Remember to leave a thumbs up for the video if you guys like the video. Remember to, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel for more videos such as match videos, case openings, market watches, and more. And yeah. All right, Jason. I appreciate the deck profile that you gave us, and I'm pretty sure we will see you again soon, and we will see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Deuces.
Bye, guys.